Welcome back, everyone, to our career mode series of Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing. And we are now one full season into our career, and we've had an opportunity to make some upgrades to our car performance. We initially made some upgrades to our engine, and then over the course of the season, made quite a few adjustments to our tires to the point where they are easily the strongest component on the car. So as we ended season one, we have $41,409, which leaves us with some decisions to make in how we want to progress. Really two major decisions at this point, because I have no desire to mess with the chassis or suspension, given how little I believe they have to do with the overall speed of the car. We know that we're not going to need to really deal with the tires really at all at this point, because we've gotten about all the performance we're going to get, especially when taking into account how much extra money we would need to spend for additional durability. But if we come back to the engine, we're at a +9 right now. And in order to move up to the 2-star engine that we would prefer, again, this would be your best 2-star engine, but the amount of money you would pay for this, $42,930 versus $24,910, is just simply not worth it for the additional durability based on everything we've seen so far. So we certainly have plenty of money to cover this $24.9 thousand to move up to the 2-star, or look how close we are to the 3-star performance, $56,210. Yeah, we're roughly 15 grand away from that. So in our terms right now, where we are and the money we make per race, which is somewhere around $2,200 to $2,400, roughly speaking. Obviously, the better we do, the more money we get, but somewhere in that range is about right. So that would take us about half of our season. Full season is 14 races. It would take us probably anywhere from 5 to 7 races to get there. But in the spirit of what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to showcase in this career mode series, I'm going to go ahead and purchase the 2-star engine. Now, my personal preference, if I were doing this off camera, would simply be to work my way through the first 5, 6, 7 races, get that 3-star engine, and then start from there. That would be my preference. But I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for us to take it one step at a time on the engine side of things. And then we'll see what we get as the season progresses. We're going to have a lot of money that's coming in, because by virtue of purchasing this new, better engine, which you can see on the screen, it would be a +10 from where we are, taking us from +9 all the way up to +19. And hopefully that would take us from struggling to make it to the A main into comfortably making it to the A main. And who knows, we might be looking at top 15s or maybe even some top 10s, depending on the track itself. But before we're quite ready to do that, let's go ahead and make some repairs, because we know every time we purchase a new component, we're going to be selling off the previous component just to keep our money as high as we can keep it. So let's go ahead and repair everything just to get it in the best shape we can. Of course, we're only going to actually be selling off the engine here, but this will take us back up to a +42. Now we come back in to purchase. Okay, $24,900. Let's go ahead and purchase and equip that one. You can see it takes our money down to just under 16 grand. But if we go to switch out the part, our +9 engine, we're going to press the X key to sell this one. Let's see how much we get. $2,500. So not very much at all, even less than I was hoping for out of this. So anytime you're selling parts, you don't get very much back for it. Now, that's pretty much par for the course in real life, but I was hoping for a little bit more than that from the game, since everything is so expensive on the engine side of things. So that leaves us with $18,462. So we got a lot of money that we're going to need to earn. And really, at this point, my goal is to have, by the end of this 14 race season, enough money to upgrade to the 3-star engine. So that becomes the new goal. And again, we're not going to be messing around with either the suspension or chassis, probably at all. And if we do mess with those at all, then it would be probably just a minor upgrade depending on how much money we have. Because at this point, we're going to start to plan ahead for when we move up to the next stage or the 310s. Practice and qualifying are now done. Unfortunately, this video is going to have to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be able to record commentary along with the gameplay. We're having some bandwidth issues because, everybody's at home in my household because of the health concerns that are going on right now. And of course, that also means that everybody in our neighborhood, in our general area, is at home. So it's causing some bandwidth issues, which causes me some concerns about how I have to record with Xbox gameplay as opposed to the PC gameplay. But hopefully those are some things I'll get ironed out before our next video. But for today, and again, hopefully today only, there will be no commentary during the heat race and then whatever feature events we're able to qualify for. But as far as practice goes, you can see we made our goal time by about a tenth to a tenth and a half. So no concerns there. Qualifying not quite as good on the lap time, but still perfectly good. And this is going to be our first opportunity in today's events to see how much performance gain we have in our new upgraded engine versus our previous engine. So just how much additional speed do we get from an additional 10 points of performance in our engine? This will give us an opportunity to see just how much more we have to gain moving forward. And we'll talk about all of that at the end of the video. But for right now, things have gone well. Let's get to the heat. So after racing finishes up today, we come home 15th, which is about what I was thinking going into this race. So our updated engine is good for about 4 to 5 positions on the track if we compare to where we were in Season 1 at Arrowwood. So not bad at all. $2,589 is just over half of the race purse, which is something good to keep in mind because obviously every race that we'll run during the season will not have the same race purse. But if we know that 15th place gets just a bit over half of that available amount, then we start to get an idea of how much money we can expect if our finishing position remains fairly constant. Obviously, from track to track, different lengths, different amounts of banking, and different components that are going to become important, our finishing position will also change. I would imagine that we're going to have some tracks where we'll do better than 15th, other tracks where we'll do worse than 15th. So it'll all work itself out, but by the end of the season, I'm hoping that we have enough money to upgrade some additional components beyond just the engine, which we certainly want to upgrade. So now let's move into the race summary. Finishing up with the race summary, there are a few important things to point out here on the screen. Obviously, our finish of 15th position, but if you look just below that, our sponsor goal is 2 top 15s within 3 races. Obviously, Arrowwood fulfills the requirement for one of those top 15 finishes. So now, within the next 2 races, we're looking for at least one additional top 15, and our reward for reaching that is around $900 if memory serves me correctly. So a nice sponsor goal that we can certainly have a realistic shot of reaching within the next couple of races. Our total money, $3,656. Most of that we saw a breakdown of on the previous screen. The additional amount would be our sponsor bonuses for reaching our goal time in practice and or any bonus that we also get for qualifying. We pick up 11 additional fans, and we already know that from the NASCAR Heat franchise, the more fans we get, the more merchandise sales we get. And of course, over time, that can become a substantial amount of money, whereas right now, very early in our career, it is a minimal portion. And then finally, we move over to the car condition. We've seen plenty of instances where in Season 1, we got credit for moderate driving. And we've already seen that that comes from not just our driving, but really how we interact with the AI. Obviously, if I take the car too wide and I hit the wall on the entry or the exit, then that's certainly going to hurt our driving stats and our car condition. But primarily what we've seen is a reduction based on contact with the AI. And unfortunately, that's something I can't do a whole lot about. I try to give the AI as much room as I possibly can during the races. Of course, we're still at a stage in our career where we're going to get lapped during the feature events. And I just try to give them as much room as I can and try to avoid all contact as best as possible. If we're able to avoid all contact or nearly all contact, except for maybe some minor contact once or twice, then we'll get smooth driving, which will take very little performance away from the car. But I would imagine most of the time is going to be moderate driving, which you can see hurts us more on the tires because of the tires that we chose to purchase anyway. They have minimum durability to start with, so really any contact we have is going to hurt that much more than it would with most of the other components. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our career mode gameplay of Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing.